Could Mac Jones be out of New England at the start of the 2023 season? Is Bill Belichick looking to get Lamar Jackson in the sweepstakes? And if so, how is this offensive scheme under Bill O'Brien going to work out for the New England Patriots coming in to the 2023 season? What started all of this mess to begin with, as far as the Mac Jones and Bill Belichick relationship started? Like, for example, these two guys, they worked together really well in the 2021 season when Mac was drafted number 15 overall and had a nice successful rookie season. Last season was not the kind of year that Bill Belichick was expecting from Mac Jones in year two, which wasn't entirely really his fault because of a lot of things that were going on, which we'll kind of talk about a little bit when we get to that part. But what's going to happen with Mac Jones? Is Mac Jones going to be a starter for the New England Patriots, or is he going to get traded somewhere else? And if so, what are some other teams that could be potentially looking into him? And how did this really all work out? Like, how is this going to end? We're going to kind of talk about that right now, as we are here right now on JP Football Fanatics, giving you my idea on why Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots coaching staff and front office needs to give Mac Jones another chance to play as quarterback for the New England Patriots. Before we get started with that, please do me a favor, drop a like on this video, leave a comment down below as well. I know I've been posting a lot of new content lately, at least I've been trying to. And the new content that I've been providing to is very valuable stuff and things that fans really need to know about. But I need to know what you guys want me to talk more about, because I feel like I repeat myself a lot when I say it. But at the same time, I can't really do anything unless people tell me what they want to see going into the future and, during this offseason, because there's a lot of stuff that's going on in the offseason that I want to touch up more on. But which one I need to know based off of you guys, what you think is the most important things to talk about. So drop a like on this video if you're able to, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you like, what you don't like. Also, if you're able to, too, if you can hit that little subscribe button that you're going to see right below this video in this live stream, click on that subscribe button there. Because when you subscribe, you're helping not only my channel grow, but you're also helping the NFL grow as a whole, too, and the sport of football overall, and spreading the news of football, and helping others find other people to talk to listen to on a daily basis. As far as like a Colin Cowherd and Mike Florio, Stephen A. Smith, and all those other guys there too, they do such a great job too. But why don't you guys hear from someone different? Someone that's not maybe an NFL analyst by any means, but someone that's a podcaster, someone that's going to give you the best opinion possible, something that the people want to hear and not just the media. So, like, comment, subscribe, and everything is going to be a-okay, and it will help the channel grow to be bigger and better than what it is already. So, thank you. All right, so I know we have one person in on the live chat right now. Thank you for that person that is tuning live right now. Thank you so much. It really does mean a lot to me. So, let's get started in terms of Mac Jones. So, let's talk a little bit about the history of Mac Jones, okay? So, in the 2021 NFL Draft, Mac Jones was a quarterback that was coming out of Alabama. A lot of people probably already know that already, but Mac Jones was a quarterback that was just coming out of Alabama and going into the 2021 NFL Draft, looking to get drafted to any particular team. Now, a lot of places that were looking for a quarterback at the time and probably were kind of looking like maybe not too much of an NFL-ready quarterback, but someone that was getting ready to, someone that was going to be solid in the future and maybe take them to a championship at some point down the road. And even probably take them into the playoffs after being in like that long drought of the long playoff drought that they've missed out for a long time. So, for example, there were a couple different teams that were basically interested in getting Mac Jones, and a lot of news media was kind of getting in on it as far as trying to see where Mac Jones would best fit in. One of the teams was the San Francisco 49ers, was one of them before Jimmy Garoppolo and that whole story that was going on there when San Francisco traded up all their picks at number 3 to only get Trey Lance. So, how's that deal worked out so far for the 49ers? Maybe not so well so far. Other teams were thinking maybe the Atlanta Falcons were probably going to go up and trade him, get him if Matt Ryan was getting ready to leave for Atlanta. Or maybe New England could be looking for someone to sit behind Cam Newton. Well, sure enough, at the number 15 overall pick, Mac Jones was taken by none other than Robert Kraft, the New England Patriots owner, and Bill Belichick decided to go ahead and draft Mac Jones as their quarterback in the year of 2021. And he was drafted along with Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, and if I'm missing anybody else, and Davis Mills was in there too, I believe, but he wasn't a first round pick, I don't believe. But if he was, please let me know. So let's talk about Mac. So no one was really anticipating, no one was really knowing as far as like, is Mac going to be the starter in that 2021 season? Was he going to be the person that was going to be sitting behind Cam Newton? Was Cam Newton going to be given another chance under Bill Belichick's offense? And how well was this really going to work out? So right at the cusp of the off season and going into the preseason, Cam Newton was, of course, was playing a little bit. He was getting most of the snaps before Mac was. And then right before the start of the season, Cam Newton was released by the New England Patriots, which then gave Mac Jones the opportunity to be the starter of the New England Patriots at the start of the 2021 season. So the way that it started out for Mac Jones maybe didn't actually seem very pretty because of the games and the teams that he's played against in the beginning of his NFL career. But as the year went on, Mac Jones in that 2021 season was a very consistent quarterback week in and week out. In terms of when I say that he was consistent, meaning that he was a consistent quarterback that was going in and putting up consistent stats. So the team that he was given in that 2021 season didn't have exactly maybe the most talented roster out there, but it was a good enough roster to kind of get you away from with some games. And then you take a look on the defensive side of the ball, was full of pros. Like Devin McCourty was there, Matthew Judon, J.C. Jackson. You had all of the defensive players that were going in and making your season. So a lot of people could say and make the legitimate argument that the defense helped the Patriots and the offense out a lot in terms of how many of those games they really won. Like you can make a legitimate argument of that. But take a look at what Mac Jones had as his offensive coordinator in year one. In year one, he had Josh McDaniels, who was one of New England's best offensive coordinators, probably really their best offensive coordinator that they've had in recent memories because of how much success that he had with Tom Brady in the early 2000s up until Tom Brady decided to leave New England to go to Tampa Bay. So that first season of Mac Jones looked very promising to pretty much anybody that was a New England fan, including myself. Now, I'm not going to say that I had doubts on Mac Jones, but I thought he fit into Bill Belichick's system a lot better than Cam Newton did in the year of 2020, and that was the year of the COVID season that started. I wasn't a big fan of Cam Newton when he was first drafted in the NFL, and I wasn't really a huge fan of Cam Newton when he was traded to New England. I didn't think it was really going to work out well enough to uphold to Bill Belichick's and Robert Kraft's expectations of being a successful team after coming off of 6 Super Bowls under Tom Brady at center. Now, they go in and they get Mac Jones, and he put up a fine season as a rookie. Didn't end the way that he wanted to, but they played the Buffalo Bills, and the Buffalo Bills has had the Patriots number for the last 3 seasons. Okay? But regardless of that, Mac Jones, you take a look at the stats that Mac Jones has had. In year one, he completed 67% of his passes. He threw for 3,800 yards total. He had 22 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, and a QBR rating of 92.5. So as a rookie, that's pretty good. And honestly, he was the best rookie quarterback of that season. Trevor Lawrence went on a downward spiral in the beginning of the season of that year, Zach Wilson was a disaster. Justin Fields couldn't really keep himself on the field very much. Davis Mills was not great, but manageable. But Mac Jones was the best quarterback in that rookie class at the time. Now let's fast forward to year 2. Josh McDaniels goes to the Las Vegas Raiders to be their head coach. Mac Jones needs an offensive coordinator. He needs a new quarterbacks coach. So who does Bill Belichick get in place of that? He gets Matt Patricia, a defensive guy, got fired from Detroit and was previously working under Bill Belichick, who was a defensive-minded coach, going in to be the offensive coordinator for the offense of the Patriots. So a defensive guy calling offensive plays, how does that really work out? And then you look at the quarterbacks coach. You need a quarterbacks coach to be successful. You get him Joe Judge, a special teams guy. Again, another coach that was fired from the Giants and was brought back to New England staff and coached quarterbacks. So in that year 2, Mac Jones got hurt and was out for 3 games. I'm going to say at least 3 games he was out for. He had a high ankle sprain, so he was out for at least 3 weeks. Brian Hoyer came in week 4 to play against the Packers, got hurt in the very first quarter, and I think even the first drive of that game. So Bailey Zappi came in, who at that time was going to be their third stringer. Bailey Zappi came in and, kind of had a fluky game in that respect. Not any disrespect towards Bailey Zappi, but after that one particular game, the Patriots fans, the organization, the coaching staff was ready for Bailey Zappi to step in over Mac Jones. And a lot of that was because a lot of the fans liked the name. They liked how fluky he was. He put a spark to the offense, and they were doing okay at that point. They were able to manage through with the games that they've had at the time. Like they had the Detroit Lions in week 5, and they blew them out 29-0. And then they played another game with them with the Browns, and the Browns defense was horrible. Then you go into week 7. Mac Jones is coming back in week 7, and he gets the starting role back again. He's cleared. He's ready to go, and he's playing the Chicago Bears. Now, he only played 2 drives of that game. And then after he threw an interception, which was his only interception of the game, Bill Belichick decides to bench Mac Jones in favor of Bailey Zappi. And now Bailey Zappi, when he came into the game, did not do anything more to help this offense beat the Bears. And the Bears ended up destroying the Patriots 31-14 it was. I think it was somewhere around that score. So I know the fans want to think that Bailey Zappi is their answer over Mac Jones. I think he's a solid backup quarterback. I don't think he's a quarterback that's going to lead you to the playoffs. I don't think he's going to lead you to like the big game. He's probably going to put a spark to your offense if they need it. But he's not a starting caliber quarterback, in my opinion. At least not yet. Okay? Because he's not much younger than Mac Jones. He was only a rookie last year when New England drafted him in the 2022 draft. So, I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I think he's someone that you can rely on to win you a game or 2. But he's not the kind of guy that I feel like is going to win you like these big moment games that he needs you to win. So, Bailey Zappi, solid backup, but Mac Jones provides a better form of the offense. He controls the game better. Mac Jones is very similar to a couple quarterbacks that I can think of right now. One of them is Jimmy Garoppolo. He's not entirely mobile, but he gets the job done. Like, he knows how to manage the clock of the game, so that way, when the time does come around to it, he knows how to score, and he knows how to manage the game well enough, and he doesn't make a ton of mistakes. But in that year 2, that kind of put him on that downward spiral a little bit, was a disaster for him last year. He completed 65% of his passes, threw for almost 3,000 yards, with 14 touchdowns and 11 interceptions, and a quarterback rating of 84.8. So not a great second year for Mac Jones, but let's be honest here, though. Was this entirely his fault or not? In my honest opinion, it's not. This was not the fault of Mac Jones. but instead of the fault of Bill Belichick got him not an offensive coordinator. He had a defensive guy making offensive plays and calling them. And he had a special teams coordinator who was also another failed head coach elsewhere to be the quarterback's coach and had no idea how to coach quarterbacks. So this was not the fault of Mac Jones. And during the season, from based off of what Mike Florio has read, and I can actually pull up the article for you because I do have it pulled up for everybody that wants to really read and kind of see like the proof and everything that kind of goes on. So I'll pull that article up real quick for everybody in case they want to see it. So it starts off with, do Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots really view Mac Jones as their quarterback of the future? That's a question worth asking after an eye-opening report from Pro Football Talk's Mike Florio, who wrote Tuesday that Belichick has shopped Jones to multiple teams this offseason. It's unclear which teams Belichick has contacted, about trading Jones, but Florio listed the Las Vegas Raiders, the Houston Texans, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Washington Commanders as potential destinations, noting Josh McDaniels' Raiders as a team to keep watching. Now, the only person in the New England organization that wants to keep Mac and has a lot of faith in Mac is the owner of Robert Kraft. So Mike Florio writes down here, he says, Florio wrote earlier Tuesday that there's tension between Belichick and Jones, potentially stemming from Jones going outside the organization to seek help during the 2022 season amid New England's offensive struggles under first-time offensive play caller in Matt Patricia. That really pissed Bill off. Our Patriots insider Tommy Curran noted Friday on the show of the Jones Amigo radio show. Whether Belichick actually intends to trade Jones this offseason or just wants to put some heat on his third-year quarterback remains unclear. Jones was the best rookie quarterback in the NFL under offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels in 2021, and there's optimism he'll bounce back from a disappointing 22 campaign with Bill O'Brien calling plays. So, other things that were kind of on here, if Belichick or Jones are at odds, however, perhaps Belichick feels he'll be better off with a veteran signal caller, potentially Garoppolo in a quarterback swap with the Raiders, a quarterback prospect in the 2023 draft, or even backup Bailey Zappi. So a lot of the reasons of why there's drama going on with Mac Jones and Bill Belichick was simply because of one thing. And I think it's a very, very poor excuse for Bill Belichick to want to trade Mac Jones. And it's because the offensive play caller was a defensive guy and had no idea how to call plays. And then you had a quarterbacks coach that they had no idea how to coach quarterbacks. So this is more like what the bottom line view. If you watch Mitch, which his name is Mitch, if you watch his stuff, and I kind of watched it the other day actually, just to kind of sneak peek of what was going on. He mentioned, and I, in a way, I actually do agree with this. I think this is more of like a what you would call a egotistical standpoint from Bill Belichick's standpoint. Like, I don't think this was something that Bill Belichick wanted to admit in terms of, I don't think he wanted to admit that Bill Belichick was in the wrong. Like, I don't think Bill Belichick wants to admit that he was in the wrong in terms of how that year turned out last year. And for them to win 8 games last year was honestly an absolute miracle. But obviously, you turn to the Patriots defense and you look at Matthew Judon, you look at Devin McCourty, you look at Marcus Jones, Jack Jones, Jonathan Jones. You look at all these defensive players that were playing on the defensive side for New England last season were the ones that really kept this team afloat and even close to the playoff potential, the playoff picture here. Now, we knew that the Patriots last year were not going to beat the Bills, and I don't think they're going to be able to. I don't think they're built, nor do I think they're going to be able to catch up to the Bills' speed anytime soon. They may be able to split with the Dolphins, maybe, but that's a big if, and that, I think a lot of that is going to do with if Tua does not play for one of those games at least, because I think there's a potential that he might get hurt. And then you're looking at the Jets right now, potentially trying to get Aaron Rodgers to be their quarterback next season. You're left with Mac Jones. Now, Mac Jones is no Aaron Rodgers. He's no Josh Allen. but he's more in terms of Tua's standpoint. In fact, I think he's better than Tua because they were both Alabama quarterbacks, and I think between him, Jones, Jalen Hurts, and Tua, out of those three quarterbacks, I believe that Mac Jones was one of the better ones at that time. Now, Jalen Hurts has developed very nicely with uh, with Nick Sirianni as head coach, and with his previous offensive coordinator in Steven Stetchen, who did a nice job with being able to contain and be able to work around the speed of Jalen Hurts. He's been able to succeed in year three. Tua also succeeded as well because he was able to get Mike McDaniels, a head coach who was a big supporter of Tua since day one, and he also was able to get more help around him. So he was able to get two of the fastest wide receivers in the NFL, and the run game has, improved quite a little bit. I would say, in my opinion, with Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert, the run game in that really improved. So these two particular Alabama quarterbacks have found ways to improve in year three. Mac Jones can do the same thing. I think he's going to succeed in year three because he now has a new offensive coordinator in Bill O'Brien, who's going to be calling the plays. Now, Bill O'Brien was previously a head coach for the Houston Texans, and we all know how that turned out at the end of the day. And the biggest downfall for Bill O'Brien at his helm at the time of his tenure when he was with the Houston Texans was trading away DeAndre Hopkins, their best wide receiver that they've probably ever had in their franchise history. So that was the biggest downfall for them. Then the whole Deshaun Watson news of wanting to get traded out of Houston before the whole allegations and massage allegations were coming out at the time for Houston. So, Bill O'Brien was, in a mess of what was going on right now. So, at that time. So giving Bill O'Brien is not getting Josh McDaniels back, but getting Bill O'Brien is someone that I feel like is very firm with his team. He's firm with his offense, so he knows offense well, better than Matt Patricia does. And I feel like he's going to light a fire under Mac's butt. So I think he's going to put more responsibility on Mac. If Mac does not succeed, then I think he's going to hold him accountable and say, listen, you need to do this, and this better. So that way we can do this, that, and the third better. So I think Bill O'Brien's sternness and assertiveness is going to bring Mac Jones to be more motivated, and he's going to have a better time with that. Now, last year's wide receivers, his best one at that time was Jacoby Myers, and that really wasn't saying a whole lot because Jacoby Myers is a slot receiver that isn't really a deep threat. Now he's getting this year a Juju Smith-Schuster who is going to help him out a lot. Tight ends improved with Mike Gesicki. I like that signing, and that's going to help them out quite a bit too on offense. And I think a lot of what New England really does need to do, they need to piece up a little bit of these things. Like, they can work with, like, a Devontae Parker. They can work with Thornhill a little bit. Like, they have some pieces that they can work around with. And the biggest piece of it all is we need to draft offensive linemen. So if I am Bill Belichick, if I'm Robert Kraft, if I'm the GM of the New England Patriots, I would definitely keep Mac Jones. I would give him at least one more year. 2 seasons doesn't really define enough for me in terms of whether or not Mac is the guy or not. So I think you need to finish out the rookie contract. At least keep him for the next season. See where he's at. And then if he does not exceed the expectations for the next season, then it could be a time to be calling up different teams to be wanting to get a trade in. Because I don't think Lamar Jackson is really going to fit into the offensive play of Bill Belichick and the Patriots. Like, I don't think that's going to be a factor for the Patriots. But I think Mac Jones is not anywhere as near as Tom Brady's talent or charisma, but he's a different kind of guy that if you put him in the right situation, he gets enough help to succeed. He's going to be good for you, and he's going to get you games that you need to get, and he's going to get you to the big game and win you the big game if you put him in the right situation. But you need to draft an offensive line to get there, and you also need to draft the right players to be able to work around him too. Now, Juju Smith-Schuster, a lot of people are not very thrilled about it in a way, I guess you could say. Some people are not really thrilled about it. But I think it's a good signing for Mac because I think it's also a veteran. It's a veteran receiver, and with Juju playing under Ben Roethlisberger, he's played under Patrick Mahomes, so he has a Super Bowl ring already. So he's worked under good quarterbacks. Now, Mac Jones is not anywhere near Patrick Mahomes, not anywhere close to it. But at the same token, though, you take a look at it, he's a good enough guy. You're working with a defensive-minded coach. You're working with Bill O'Brien, probably one of their better play callers that New England's had besides Josh McDaniels. And you also are going to be, you're working with a good, what some would say is a good organization. Like New England was at one point a good organization until Tom Brady decided to pack up and leave. So right now, New England's in a bit of dysfunction, but I think this is where like Bill is making the right moves now for his team. Now he's getting Mac some more help. He's getting him the coaching staff that he needs, and he's also getting some support. I think the biggest thing that Bill needs to do right now is just throw away 2022 and look into 2023 and be more supportive of Mac Jones because Mac is going to be your guy moving forward, in my honest opinion. I think you need to give him another chance. Last year was not his fault. If it was reversed and he had McDaniels as the OC and he had a right quarterbacks coach and he was performing the way that he was, then there would be no excuse for that. But last year was a year that can be thrown away, and we can look into the future and say, let's give it one more go. And if this doesn't work out, then it would be time to trade him. But personally, I would finish out on the rookie contract because if you finish out on the rookie contract, chances are you don't need to pick up on that fifth year option. And if you know officially he's not your guy, then that would be the time to really go ahead and say, hey, we're done with you. It's time to move on. So I think he needs to be given another chance. I don't know what other people are thinking about it. I know there are some Patriots fans that are out there wanting to support Mac Jones. And I really think, those people who are making sense out of the situation are in the right state of mind. The ones that are kind of siding Bill Belichick, not saying that they're wrong either, but I don't think they're really fully understanding the logistics of what happened last year and what could be better for next season, getting himself now a real OC, a real offensive guy, and a real quarterbacks coach. So, with that being said, you need to give Mac another chance. I think you need to give him another chance. Give him at least one more year. See what you can do for him because I don't think you're going to, if you wanted to trade Mac Jones now, you're not going to get him for a first round pick. You're not going to be able to do that. Like, there's no other team that's going to be willing to give up a first round pick or a second round pick for Mac Jones at the time. No one's going to want to be able to do that. Like, not even Baltimore, I don't think is going to want to do that because they want to try to franchise tag, which they already did. They franchise tagged Lamar Jackson. And in that point, they don't want to let go of Lamar just yet. They want to be able to figure something out for Lamar before, things start happening. So I don't think New England's going to pursue to that route because I think Robert Kraft, obviously being the owner that he is of the Patriots, I don't think he's going to allow it. I think he's going to want Belichick to give Mac another year, and I think it's the right thing to do. So that's where I would stand on that. So just to kind of conclude it all in all, let's give Mac Jones another chance. Let's see what he does in year 3. If he doesn't do anything spectacular, if he does not succeed to the potential of where we want him to be, then it's time to move on from him. But let's give him one more year. Let's see what happens. And then we can shop around next season to see if he's not the guy. But I think he is going to be the guy moving forward. So with all that being said, everybody, if you had not done so already, please be sure to drop a like on this video. Leave a comment down below as well. I know, guys, with a lot of things that are going on, and I know that, things go on, and I'm trying to keep up with, like, the off-season stuff and what have you. I know it's a lot going on right now, but, guys, I want to be able to know what you guys are thinking. I want to know the content that you guys want me to cover. I mean, I can cover all sorts of different news all around, but I can't really do anything, or I can't really say much about anything unless you guys tell me and want me to go more in depth in terms of like what you think is most important. So if you like and you comment on this video, it's going to help me out a lot. And not only is it going to help me out a lot, it's going to help you guys out a lot. And it will help the channel out in terms of growing to be bigger and better than it already is. And also, too, you could tell your friends, your family members, anybody that's a football fanatic. If you see that subscribe button, make sure you click on that subscribe button as well. Because the more subscribers that I get, the more support I'm going to get moving forward. And the more support that I'm going to get from people that are wanting to go in and be able to, want to talk about football with me and be able to really understand my logistics and be able to talk about where I stand on certain things in football. So if you do all those things, like, comment, subscribe, you're not only helping me out, you're not only helping your fans out, but you're helping the channel grow and you're getting the voice heard out there, the best voice heard out there, which is me. So like, comment, subscribe. With all that being said, everybody, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about Mac Jones. Do you think he's the future, or do you think it's time for the Patriots to trade off of Mac Jones and try to get something new for next season? Let me know in the comments down below. It's James. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you all have a great afternoon.